Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Patrick, back today with another video for those of you who are looking to start making music at home. Today we're talking about audio interfaces, but more specifically, I've got a few great options here for those of you who are looking to stay right around the $100 price point. Just two quick things before we get started. If you are new to the channel, my name is Patrick. I'm a New York City-based singer-songwriter, guitar player, music producer. On this channel, we talk about everything from gear and instruments to songwriting and music production, so consider subscribing. And second, just as a little way for me to say thank you to you guys for your continued support of this channel, I'm going to be giving away one of these audio interfaces to one of you. Details for the giveaway will be at the end of this video, but for now, let's get into checking out some audio interfaces. I'm going to lay out some of the key features and specs for each of these audio interfaces, but if you want to check these audio interfaces out for yourself and get a full spec rundown, I'll leave links to each of these in the description below. So starting us off is the Scarlett Solo from Focusrite. I know, surprise, surprise, this is one of the most common audio interfaces that you see being used today, and at right around $100, this is one of the best options available. Probably what I love the most about the Scarlett Solo is its simplicity. Everything that you're going to need access to while recording is right here on the front of the interface, laid out really clearly and really simply. You have one instrument input, one mic input, and these are both really clearly labeled. They each have corresponding gain knobs, and the thing that I really like about these gain knobs is they're backlit with these LED indicators that will let you know if your signal is clipping or is too hot. Our instrument input allows us to switch between line level and instrument level. Our mic input has phantom power if we're using a condenser mic, and the mic preamp in this Scarlett Solo sounds really, really good. On the back, we have our RCA stereo outputs and our USB connection. Again, all of these devices are USB bus powered, which means you need no external power supply. So there's a bunch of included software that comes bundled with the Scarlett Solo, and if you're just starting out, included software is definitely something that you want to pay attention to. Most notably, the Scarlett Solo comes with Ableton Live Lite and Pro Tools First. Now these are the introductory versions to Ableton Live and Pro Tools respectively, which are two of the industry-leading digital audio workstations. Now this is the only audio interface that we're going to talk about today that comes with two digital audio workstations, which if you're just getting started is a big plus because it gives you the opportunity to try some different things and see what works best for you. Plus, if you're running a Mac, Macs come free with GarageBand, so in theory, you could kind of be trying out three of the most popular digital audio workstations that are used today. If you're a beginner and you don't know which DAW is right for you, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below to an article that I really like to link people to. It's a really simple breakdown of kind of all the major digital audio workstations, lays out some pros and cons that'll help you figure out which one is best for you. The last thing I want to mention with the Scarlett Solo is the build quality. Even though we have this small and little compact unit, the metal housing will definitely give you some added protection should you choose to travel with this device or move it around your studio a lot. Anyway, let's move on. Now next up, we've got the new kid on the block. That's right, I'm talking about the Komplete Audio 1 from Native Instruments. Now this was part of a two audio interface release that Native Instruments did earlier this year, and we'll talk just a little bit about the Komplete Audio 2, but let's start right here with the Komplete Audio 1 because this is the one that is available at the most affordable price point, right around $100. And at a first glance, this Komplete Audio 1 captures all of the sleek and minimal design elements that Native Instruments is known for. And size-wise, this is almost exactly the same size as the Scarlett Solo. Now, unlike the Scarlett Solo, the Komplete Audio 1 is made almost entirely of plastic. So obviously it's not going to be quite as durable. Should you throw both of these out of a 5-story window, this has a better chance of survival, but the Komplete Audio 1 is definitely the most lightweight option we will talk about today. Right on the top, we have two LED indicators, one for phantom power and one for our USB connectivity. And then just to the left of that, we have this VU meter, which is really nice because this will more accurately help you adjust the levels of your input and prevent any clipping. On the front of our device, and much like the Scarlett Solo, we have an instrument and mic input with corresponding gain knobs. Our instrument input can also be set to line and instrument level. We have phantom power, again, so we can use our condenser mics with this audio interface. And then we have this input and host dial, which will essentially allow you to determine what you're hearing in your headphones. On the back, we have our USB connection and our RCA stereo output. Now, the Komplete Audio 1 comes with a great software bundle, most notably Ableton Live Lite, Monarch, which is Native Instruments' analog synthesizer, and Machine Essentials, which is the intro version to Native Instruments Machine, which is a great beat-making workstation and plugin. Now, if you have the extra $30 to upgrade to the Komplete Audio 2, I think I would recommend it, and here's why. With the Komplete Audio 2, instead of having one mic input, one instrument input, you get two combination inputs, and what this means is, in each input, you can record either a mic or an instrument. Let's say you want to sing and then mic your guitar, either an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar amp. You'll be able to do that. Maybe you play guitar and your friend plays bass and you guys want to record some parts together, maybe record a little jam that you have. You're able to do that. Essentially, these combination inputs are just going to give you a lot more flexibility, and for an extra 30 bucks, it doesn't seem like too high of an asking price in my opinion. The other thing worth noting, the Komplete Audio 2 does come equipped with a stereo jack output. So the last audio interface we're going to take a look at today is the PreSonus Audio Box USB 96. Now this audio interface isn't talked about as much as the other two, but there's still some things I really like about this, and one or two things that I don't really like about it, but it's definitely worth your consideration, and here's why. First of all, at the time of recording this video, this is the cheapest of the three audio interfaces that we looked at today, coming in at right under $100. Second of all, remember those combination inputs that we were just talking about with the Komplete Audio 2? This PreSonus Audio Box has those combination inputs, and I'm a big fan of that. And there aren't too many other audio interfaces at this price point that boast these combination inputs. Obviously, with the two combination inputs, you get two mic preamps. PreSonus describes these preamps as high performance, low noise, high headroom preamps. What I'll tell you is I really like the way that the preamps sound. They have a nice warmth to them, but we'll take a closer look at that when we get into the sound test. Now, on the front of the audio interface, we have 5 knobs that at a glance all look exactly the same. Now this actually isn't a huge deal to me, and I used a PreSonus audio interface when I was first starting out, but I can definitely see how something like this is much easier to use if you're just starting out. So something to consider. The other thing you might notice if you're looking at the front of this audio interface is there's no headphone jack, and that's because it's on the back. So needless to say, I'm not a huge fan of this. It's nice when you have your audio interface sitting on your desk just to have access to the headphone jack. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it is worth noting. We also have our stereo line outputs, and I prefer these to the stereo RCA outputs. We've obviously also got phantom power, and like the Komplete Audio 1 and 2, we've got a little mixer knob, which again lets you mix between the dry signal from your input and the playback from your digital audio workstation. Yo guys, what's up? Real quick, there was a whole section in this video about sample rates and bit depth and how this records at sample rates of up to 96 kilohertz, and the other ones go a lot higher. If you're interested in all that, I'll include a link in the description below explaining all about sample rate and bit depth. The fact that this only records at sample rates up to 96 kilohertz isn't a huge deal, especially if you're a beginner. Just wanted to mention that. Let's get back to the video. This thing's also got some very different yet still very cool included software. It comes bundled with Studio One, which is a DAW that's made by PreSonus, which isn't as popular as some of the other DAWs we've talked about today, but Studio One is beloved by its users and is touted as a great digital audio workstation for beginners. It also comes bundled with the Studio Magic plugin bundle, with some great selections from Lexicon, Output, and Arturia. Most notably for me, it comes with Arturia's Analog Lab Lite, which if you don't know is a great introduction into the world of Arturia's analog synth collection and their vintage keys selection. The last thing I want to mention is the build quality of this thing is second to none. It is built like a tank. If you're moving around a lot or you're going to be taking this on the road and you can't really be bothered with an audio interface that you have to be careful with, this might be the way to go. All right guys, let's get into the sound test. We're going to do a little shootout between these three audio interfaces. I'll do a couple of different mic tests, I'll run some guitar through them, and we'll see what we think. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so let's get started with just a simple mic test. And right now I've got my Shure SM7B running through the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. And I want you, just as we go through this test, to just kind of take a listen to the difference in the sound of each of these audio interfaces. The SM7B has a really flat, wide range frequency response, which is really just a fancy way of saying that it records a really clean and natural sound, which is why I chose it for this demo. Alright, so now we're checking out the SM7B going into the Native Instruments Komplete Audio 1. And already there's definitely some notable differences. I think the Focusrite definitely sounds a little bit warmer, a little bit rounder, if that makes sense. But the Komplete Control sounds a little bit more sharp and crisp, a little bit more modern sounding. With compression and EQ and effects, you can really get whatever sound out of your mic that you want. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this really just comes down to all-around preference. All right, so last up, we have our PreSonus Audio Box USB 96. And just right out the gate, this one sounds a little bit louder. These preamps seem to be really powerful as I crank this thing right now. And this one sounds a little bit more like the Focusrite to me, a little bit more warm sounding. I definitely like the sound of the preamps in this interface. And I will just say all three of these audio interfaces were plug and play. I didn't even have to close Logic. I've been switching between each of these audio interfaces for each different test. So that's definitely something worth noting. But let's move on to some guitar tests. All right, so one quick thing to note about this next test, we are using a condenser microphone. And the significance of that is we will be testing out the phantom power on each of these audio interfaces. So that's a plus. I've got my D'Angelico Excel Tammany acoustic guitar, mic'd by the TLM 102 from Neumann, going directly into the Scarlett Solo to start us off. So let's check it out. Alright, so last up, let's try recording some electric guitar direct into each of these audio interfaces. I'm playing a D'Angelico Deluxe Brighton guitar. Here are the amp settings on Logic's amp plugin that I'm running. First up, we've got the Scarlett Solo. Alright guys, so what do you think? Personally, I think each of these options offer something just a little bit different. One thing is for sure, any of these options are going to be more than capable of helping you create music at home or in your own home studio. And for that reason, I'm going to give one of these away to one of you guys. And actually, I was going to give away the Komplete Audio 1, but I think I'm going to give away the Komplete Audio 2 because I think that's the option that I would choose. So if you want to be entered to win, all you got to do is subscribe to this channel and leave a like and a comment on this video. Comment which one of these audio interfaces was your favorite and why. When the video hits, we'll say 350 likes, I'll pick a winner, I'll get a hold of you, and I'll send you your very own Komplete Audio 2 from Native Instruments. Listen guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. It was great hanging out with you, great getting to demo some of these audio interfaces for you. I hope today's video helped you get a little bit closer to finding the audio interface that is perfect for you and your music making needs. But listen guys, until next time, my name's Patrick. I'll catch y'all soon, alright? Peace.